It's Jaunti, boy.
Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Jaunti. Welcome back to the channel. I am back with a new video, and man, we're gonna have ourselves a good one in this one. We're gonna be covering 3 plugins. Before we get into that, I'd like to say thank you to those who has recently subscribed. Mucho gusto. If you're new to the channel, you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Also hit the notification bell so you'll be notified of new videos once I upload them. And also don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Smash the like button for your boy. I will always appreciate you. On top of that, let's talk about these 3 plugins. Waves just came out with a new plugin today. It's called Synced VX. For this plugin, you're pretty much aligning the pitch and time of multiple vocal tracks that is essential for achieving a tight, polished sound and audio production. It will also keep the arrangements clean, cohesive, and uncluttered. And for the next plugin we're going to be covering, it's called Bull Sub by Safari Pedals. They also collaborated with Leslie Brathwaite, one of the best mix engineers that I know of. Shout outs to both of them. So for Waves and Safari Pedals, they both came to me and asked me if I want to check this out and show you guys what these plugins are capable of. So let's see what they can do. All right, guys. So before we get started, depending on the DAW that you're using, the DAW, it varies. So the first plugin I'm going to be using is the Synced VX plugin. And like I stated before, it's not like a type of plugin that you just insert your vocals on. You have to open it in a different way. Now, this is a record that I mixed recently. It's called Do It For Me by WesSide Dame featuring Garcia Greg. Shout outs to them. WesSide got an album dropping pretty soon. If you guys want to check out this record when it comes out, by all means, give it a go. Pretty much choose your vocals that you want to align. Make sure that the vocalist says the same thing. They're stacking. There's so many artists out there and some that I know of that would rather me copy and paste the vocal. But I always tell them if I do that, it's still going to sound the same. It's just going to sound like I just turned up the vocal. Or others who also mix their own vocals, they prefer to just duplicate their vocals, move it just a little bit, like by a few centimeters, but probably just a notch. And they just change the semitone just by 1 or 2, and all of a sudden it sounds completely different, like as if they re-recorded themselves. I prefer not to do it that way. I'm a natural kind of guy, so I'd rather you just do multiple takes of your vocals, and I do my magic from there. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna choose the hook. This is the hook right here.
Shake it for me, baby. Girl, you drive me crazy. Do it for me.
But you wanna make sure that they're in sync. You know, you wanna make sure they're in line. I mean, there are 2 ways that you can open up Synced VX. All you got to do is first highlight the regions, and then you go right here, and Synced VX is right there, and there's a check mark. Or go on any of the regions, right click, and click on this as well. You can click on Edit, and they'll pop up just like this. Remember, it's not a regular plugin; it's an ARA plugin. So the first time, you know, it gives you some tips on what you can do. There are 7 steps. You can select your first reference. Add a reference. You can change the scent assignment. You can ignore a region, bypass selection, sync markers. So right over here, you could zoom in and zoom out vertically. You could change the waveform. Put it back where it was. All right, now what we want to do next is we want to choose one of these as the reference track. Meaning, whichever you choose as the reference track, the other tracks are going to be aligned with that reference track. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose the very first one, and you could left click on this. You pretty much make reference to either the first track, second, third, or fourth, but this one is going to be reference number 1. Okay, as for 2, you click on this, sync to reference 1. And you see it up here, it's automatically processing. It's analyzing all the parts that need to be in sync with the reference track. And for the third track, you're going to do exactly what you did with the second one. Now, this one is already processed to be in sync to the first reference track. And up here, it says cancel because it was automatically processing. It stayed in sync, and watch what happens.
Shake it for me, baby. Girl, you drive me crazy. Do it for me. Do it for me, baby, oh, babe.
Now, even though for the time and for the pitch, you want to be absolutely careful with that because the time and the pitch, if you have everything up to 100%, everything is just going to sound the same.
Shake it for me, baby. Girl, you drive me crazy. Do it for me.
Now, it just sounds like it's just one take. And it sounds like I just put a doubler on it and just call it a day. Now, you don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to put everything at 50% for the time and the pitch.
Shake it for me, baby. Girl, you drive me crazy. Do it for me. Do it for me, baby. You, babe. Baby, you got it.
And I can hear it. Now, if you want a stereo sound, make sure the second and third tracks, one is panned to the left 50% and the other is panned 50% right. And also, if you want that stereo sound, make sure that one of the tracks are 50% panned to the left or around 50%. And the other is panned 50% to the right.
Shake it for me, baby. Girl, you drive me crazy. Do it for me. Do it for me, baby. You, babe. Baby, you got it.
And that's all you're doing. It's just that simple. It does it automatically. Now for this right here, you can add some D noise to it. You could turn it on or off manually or let it do it automatically. I just do things normally by just putting the tracks in there and let the plugin work its magic. You can move it around. You can select the grid scale. It's like its own DAW, but the only limitation that you have is you're just aligning, keeping the vocals in sync with each other, the tracks. And that's all you're doing.
8 hours later.
All right, guys. In case you were wondering why my background looks a little bit brighter, that's because my camera decided to die on me while I was in the middle of shooting. And I had to get up early this morning to film the rest because this is the day the plugins drop. And my silly behind decided to film the night before they drop. Should have done it like a week in advance. And now I'm drinking my lemon water with ginger and honey. Excelente. It's trying to wake me up. So let's get into these plugins. All right, we just finished covering Synced VX. Now we're going to look into Bull Sub Machine. Now I'm sure you guys are into bass, 808s, sub basses, bass lines, bass synths. This right here is supposed to make that bad boy stand out. And it reminds me of more of the plugin R-Bass by Waves. They could be neck and neck. They could be doing the same thing. But for this one, we're going to give it a shot and see what it's capable of. Shouts to my boy, Leslie. He helped create this plugin, especially the punch feature right here. As usual, Safari Pedals is very nice and creative with the artwork. In the back, you can see the bull. Dang, this thing got some fangs on his mouth. Yeah, it's like half bull, half demon right here. Yeah, definitely don't want to run into a bull like that. All right, so far we have your bypass and your auto gain. Now, as for the frequency, all we're doing is we're just sweeping the low end to see which part of the low end we want to boost. Now, as for the drive, all we're doing is we're trying to give it more grit and grow, trying to make it stand out a little bit more, make it sound very, very, you want your bass to sound like a monster. You want it to sound very, very hard. And as a resonance, we're just targeting and amplifying those key frequencies. And you just want to make sure that everything stands out beautifully. And we have your presets at the top. Wow, there's a lot of them. You can use it for, you can give it a little bit more thump to your vocals. You can make your guitar sound thick, give it more of a kick to your bass, your subs, a whole bunch of stuff, your 808s. Wow, this is amazing. Now, for me, I use R-Bass from Waves on certain beats that lack dynamics. For instance, if someone downloads a beat off of YouTube and it's lacking dynamics, meaning the bass is pretty low, it's pretty much lifeless. So for me, I slap an EQ in a bass. Pretty much you can use any EQ at this point, just to sweep in the low end to figure out which part of the bass, which part of the low end, the frequency ranges you want to boost. So what we're going to do is we're going to use an EQ first. And sometimes I use the low frequency or the low mid frequency ranges, and I just sweep it through. And right there, we're going to use 96 hertz, 96 kilohertz. And we're going to go back to Bull Sub Machine. And we're going to slap it on there, keep everything at its default settings. And this is how it sounds. Well, first, before we do, we got to put it on 96 hertz. Remember, that's the frequency I want to boost the 808s. So let's see how it sounds. No presets, no tweaking. And there you go. I didn't even do anything, and all of a sudden it just boosts that frequency range right there. But it might sound a little bit overbearing, so you definitely don't want to add too much to it. You could turn down the blend knob, or you could turn down the drive and the resonance. Let's see. And remember, the punch feature right here, this is going to react as a transient designer. So it's going to take those transients and make them sound a little bit more harder. So let's turn it off. That's basically all you're doing. I mean, you could slap a preset on here and you could tweak it from there. Now, this is a plugin I forgot to cover a couple of weeks ago, but I'm gonna put this on my mix bus and make everything stand out more with the Bull Sub Machine and the Synth VX with the vocals. And also keep this in mind, this is a clipper. Clipping is used as an essential mastering technique. So this is basically all it's gonna do is it's just gonna alter the amplitude of the audio signal in your tracks. So I actually use the T-Rex Classic Clipper in mastering. I don't necessarily use this during my mixing stages. So what I would do is I would put this in my mix bus. Some engineers will use this in their mixing stage just to change the amplitude of the audio signals in certain tracks. But me, for instance, I do it as a whole during my mastering stage. And that's all we're doing.
Shake it for me, baby. Girl, you drive me crazy. Do it for me. Do it for me, baby, you babe. Baby, you got it. Shake it for me, baby. Girl, you drive me crazy. Do it for me. Do it for me, baby, you babe. Baby, you got it.
And some might ask, should I use a clipper or a limiter and put in my mix bus? Well, here's the answer to your question. If you want it to sound a little bit more distorted, use a clipper, a soft clipper. But if you want to sound a little bit louder, use a limiter.
Shake it for me, baby. Girl, you drive me crazy. Do it for me. Do it for me, baby, you babe. Baby, you got it.
WesSide.
Got it, got it.
And that's all you're doing. That's it. There you have it. It's just plain and simple. As for the Synth VX, it's a nice plugin. It's in competition with VOCALS, in my opinion. To grab the tracks and put it in the plugin and it'll automatically process it, it won't render, like, it's letting you know what it sounds like before you render it. Like VOCALS doesn't do that. You have to render first and then play it back to see what it sounds like. If you don't like it, you have to undo it and start all over. That's one thing this plugin has over VOCALS. Maybe VOCALS does that already because I don't have the latest version. It probably does. But on top of that, this plugin is not that bad. As for Bull Sub Machine, it reminds me of the art bass plugin by Waves. I'm not so sure if there are any differences between the two, but for this one right here, the Bull Sub Machine probably has it just by a little bit. And as for the clipper, it does what it's supposed to do. I will use it in mastering myself. But if you guys want to grab these, the links will be down in the description below. I appreciate it if you guys use my affiliate links. It will help support the channel. I would really appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think. But until then, it's your boy Jaunti. I'm signing off. You guys have a good one. I love you. God loves you more. Stay blessed. And peace out.